The time has finally come for me and my family to start our 4-week vacation to the United States of America. So tomorrow morning we're going to travel into the Copenhagen airport and then fly from Denmark to London and then from London to Washington D.C, where we're going to start this amazing adventure. In the first week of our vacation we are going to travel through Washington D.C. and New York City, and in the next 4 upcoming weeks you can expect a lot of exciting experiences, running training and food adventures. It's 6:20 in the morning and we are just about to do about 45-minute drive into the Copenhagen airport.
Hello YouTubes! Now we're in the airport. Hello YouTube!
Subscribe!
Yes! Remember to follow!
By some miracle we made it through the security, and of course we are now at the bar Mikkeler, because where else would you find us before we are flying on vacation? And I decided to get this dragon fruit beer, which I'm really excited to try. Cheers!
Er jeg med i den ende?
Ja. Jeg er med i den ende også.
Skål!
Jeg er med i begge ender.
Skål!
Choosable exit, taking nothing with you.
We made it to the London airport in Heathrow, and now we're just getting a little bit of food. And I just got some rice with beans and a little bit of salad. And for the next couple of hours we're just chilling here until we board our flight to Washington. We've now taken off in our second flight and our direction is now towards the United States of America. So the next time I will see you is in Washington D.C. It's Sunday morning here in Washington and it's our first day to explore the city. Last evening we arrived here at 12 o'clock in the night, so I had no energy to record the arrival because I just had to go straight to bed because we had been traveling for about 24 hours and I had to get up at about 5 o'clock this morning to do my Sunday long run before we headed out with the entire family to explore the city. So this morning I did 20 kilometers in 1 hour and 26 minutes at a pace of 4 minutes and 14 seconds. So a great start to the morning, and now we are exploring the neighborhood here in Washington near our hotel to find some breakfast. We just found a little bakery to have breakfast, and I'm going to split this delicious omelette with my mother alongside with a breakfast sandwich, and our breakfast sandwich looks like this. We've just eaten the delicious breakfast and we are now making our way down to see the White House and the Arlington Cemetery. We made it to the White House. Now that we've seen the White House, we are moving towards the Arlington Cemetery.
Bottle flip!
After seeing the Washington Memorial, we are now taking a little detour to see the Lincoln Memorial before we head down to the Arlington Cemetery. After a bit more of walking, we just made it to the Arlington Cemetery.
Nå, men det siger du ikke den med det runde tag derovre?
Jo, ja, fordi det er jo helt derovre, resten. Jeg tænker på det. Helt vildt voldt.
We've just spent a couple of hours here in the Arlington Cemetery, just walking around, but we really got hit by the heat, so now we are heading down to the metro to get back to the city and find a good place to get some lunch. We've just found a place to eat and I ordered this delicious seafood linguine, which I'm really looking forward to digging into. We just returned to our hotel after the lunch, and because we ate so late in the day, we are not going to leave the hotel more today. We're just going to chill. So I will just see you tomorrow. It's Monday morning, the 1st of July, which means it's our dad's birthday. And this morning we woke him up with a birthday song. And now we're headed down to the bakery to get breakfast as we did yesterday. And after that, we're headed out to visit Capitol Hill here in Washington. Look at these funny bowls we get our coffee in. For breakfast this morning, I went for some oatmeal with berries and some raisin bread. With our stomach full after the breakfast, we just made our way to the Union Station here in Washington, and now we are walking over to Capitol Hill.
Yes, sir.
We just left the Capitol Hill and now we are making our way down to the metro to head out to Pentagon to see what's going on out there. We just returned back to the city after seeing the Pentagon and the 9/11 memorial, and now we are looking for a place to get some lunch. We just found a spot to get some food at some kind of sports bar, and I decided to get this delicious tuna salad. After eating our lunch earlier, we went around and did some shopping in Washington City, and then we just headed back to the hotel to relax and have a bit of hygge. And now we went out again to find a place to eat our dinner. We made it down in the Washington town to this place called Ben's Chili Bowl, which we were recommended, and we are now going in and trying the food. We made it inside here, and this is a true institution here in Washington. The restaurant has been here since 1958, and I'm really hyped about trying their food. I ordered their original chili hot dog, and then I also got some chili con carne on the side. Cheers. This is so American food. We just left Ben's Chili Bowl, and I think it was so fun trying their food. It was really authentic being down in this part of the city, and I think it was very interesting also seeing this part of Washington. But now we are just making our way back to the hotel and walking the food off a bit, because it was quite an experience eating that type of food, and you can really feel it in the stomach. But when we get back to the hotel, I'm just headed straight to bed, because tomorrow morning I'm going to head out and do 6 times 1 mile in the morning before we head out with the family. So there will be no more plans for today, and I will just see you tomorrow. It's Tuesday morning and it's just about 10 minutes in 8, and we're just about to meet with the family to head out and find a place to get some breakfast. And earlier this morning, I headed out for the run that I mentioned yesterday evening, and did the 6 times 1.6 kilometers. And I did the intervals in an average of 3 minutes and 30 seconds per kilometer pace, which I'm very satisfied with, especially considering all the steps that we have been taking the past couple of days. So this was a great success. Then after the intervals, I met with Fred and Mother, and we did a spin around the block and did a few more kilometers. And the overall run, I did 17 kilometers in 1 hour and 19 minutes at a pace of 4 minutes and 37 seconds per kilometer. So a great start to the day, and now we will head out to find a place to get some breakfast. We just found a spot to get some breakfast, and I got a couple of eggs with a steak and some fruit, and then a English muffin with some jam, which I'm really looking forward to eating. And Fred, he got some potatoes with some scrambled eggs and some bread as well. We just finished eating our breakfast, and my plate was really delicious. Now we're making our way over to the Air and Space Museum here in Washington to see what's going on over there. So they were completely sold out at the Space and Air Museum. So now we walked over to the History Museum to see if we can get in there. We just left the museum after walking around a bit and it was pretty chill, but now me and the boys left to get something to drink. We've just met up with the others to grab a quick lunch here at some cafe we found. We've just returned to the hotel after chilling in a park for some time, and in a few moments I'm going to do a strength training with Fred, and then we're just going to chill at our hotel until we head out to find dinner this evening.
Hello, YouTube!
Me, Fred, Sims and Alec, we just did our strength training, and then afterwards the boys, they got a few beers and drinks, and now we're headed out to find a place to eat dinner. We just found an Italian restaurant to get our dinner, and in a few moments we're going to get our appetizers.
Hello, YouTube. Subscribe. Hello, YouTube. So today we are gonna eat some Italian food. It's gonna be great. We got some beers, wine, something like that. Perfect. And like and subscribe. Perfect. Thank you.
The appetizers arrived and we got bruschetta and garlic bread. I couldn't imagine anything better than trying my mixed seafood linguine right now. How's your food, Fred?
Very good. Look at this. Meat with meat. Meatballs and potatoes and spinach. Doesn't matter.
We've just finished our delicious dinner and we are now making our way back to the hotel. And for the rest of the evening, we're just going to chill and enjoy our last night here in Washington. It's Wednesday morning, July the 3rd, and I'm just sitting here in the hotel room before we head out to meet with the others to get a bit of breakfast down at the restaurant here at the hotel. And today we're actually going to travel to New York City, so this will be our last morning here in Washington. After we've eaten our breakfast, we're just going to pack our things down and then head on to the Union Station, where we're going to get on a train, which is going to drive us for about 4 hours until we get to New York City later today. After a good day of traveling, we finally made it to New York, and it's now about 7 o'clock in the evening, and we've just unpacked our things here at the hotel. So now we went out to find a place to get some dinner. And I must say, my first impression of New York is that this is such a crazy place. There was an endless amount of impressions in the city while we were traveling from the subway over to our hotel. So I'm very excited to experience this place in the next 5 days we are here. We've just dropped in at an Italian restaurant just around the corner just to get some food. And I actually think it's going to be really great looking at the menu. Our food just arrived and I'm really looking forward to trying this garlic shrimp over polenta. We've just finished eating our dinner and the food tasted really good. And just walking through here in New York, I must say I'm still really hyped at experiencing this city. It's really crazy being here. But right now we are just walking back to the hotel and I'm actually just headed straight to bed because tomorrow morning I'm headed out to do 15 times 1 kilometer before we meet with the family to experience the city. It's Thursday morning, the 4th of July here in New York, and I think it's really special that we get to experience the 4th of July in this crazy city. And as I mentioned yesterday evening, I started today by doing a run where I included 15 times 1 kilometer intervals, and the overall average pace of all the intervals was 3 minutes and 33 seconds per kilometer, which I'm very satisfied with, especially considering all the fatigue I've been accumulating from all the walking we've been doing in the last week. The overall run, I did 21 kilometers in 1 hour and 34 minutes at an average pace of 4 minutes and 19 seconds. And after eating breakfast, we've just left the hotel to head out and see Ground Zero to start this day. We've just left the 9/11 memorial, and even though it's maybe not the most uplifting museum you can enter, it's really interesting and definitely worth a visit. But now we are just walking like 500 meters from the memorial over to Wall Street, which I'm also really excited to visit and experience. It was really fun seeing the New York Stock Exchange, and now we just walked over here to Battery Park before we head out to see Central Park. We just made a quick stop to get some lunch at Chick-fil-A, and now we are walking over to see the Billionaires Row before we head into Central Park.
Hovedbygningen derovre, de havde udsigt i gamle dage.
For satan. Sorry. Language voice.
After chilling for a bit in Central Park, we just headed back down to the subway to take it back to Chinatown where our hotel is. And now we will head inside the hotel, and me and the boys will do a strength training before we head out later this evening to find some dinner before we will see fireworks. Strength training complete, and I must admit that right now I am quite exhausted. But now we left the hotel to head out and find a place to eat food, and I'm really looking forward to getting some energy in the system. We just found a place that served Korean food, and then we walked down to the harbor to eat it and chill. I ordered these chicken dumplings as well as this pork with rice. These chicken dumplings is really good. But the pork is even better. We just finished eating our dinner and it was really delicious. On top of that, it also took me back a bit to Seoul, eating with chopsticks again, so that was also quite fun. But now we are heading over to the other side of New York to see the fireworks here on the 4th of July above the Hudson River. So the police stopped the way, so we have just been waiting here to see if we can see any fireworks. But now we are just hearing loud sounds without having any sights of firework. So we will now just abandon mission and head back to the subway to maybe get back home in just a reasonable time. We just made it back home to our hotel after a pretty crazy 4th of July this evening. I must say it was pretty disappointing not seeing any fireworks, but we still had quite a fun evening. But now the plan is that I'm headed straight to bed because me, Fred and Mom is going out for a run tomorrow morning. It's Friday morning, which means that me, Fred and Mom is just about to head out for a 5-kilometer run. The only thing we're missing is Fred, but he is of course a bit late early in the morning. He made it! So now that we are out here running, I just wanted to talk a bit about my training I've been doing the last couple of weeks here on this US vacation, because after Aarhus Marathon I set some pretty ambitious goals in terms of my current fitness level and building towards the H.C. Andersen Marathon, but I've decided to slow down all my paces in my intervals with about 5 to 10 seconds, because I know myself quite well in terms of that if I'm not able to hit my splits, I get pretty affected by it in terms of my mood and feelings throughout the day. So I would much rather enjoy my vacation and have a little bit less ambitious goals just for the next couple of weeks. And I also think that in the big picture, it doesn't really matter that I've slowed the paces down just a little bit in these weeks, because I am also under a lot of additional fatigue that I'm used to, because we are walking so much in these big cities like Washington and New York.
Nå, bare nu.
5 kilometers done in 32 minutes at an average pace of 6 minutes and 25 seconds per kilometer. Well done. We're just waiting outside the hotel after eating our breakfast, and now we're just waiting for the rest of the family before we head out to see Empire State Building. As you can see, we made it to Empire State Building. We made it to the 86th floor. We just took the elevator another step up here at the Empire State Building from 86th floor to the 102nd, and it's quite an amazing view. And on top of that, I must also say that it's a bit more sketchy up here. It tingles a little bit more because of the amazing view. We just made it back down from the Empire State Building, and it was a really fun experience. I always really enjoy being up in those skyscrapers, and I think it feels quite surreal being up there, but always a fun experience. And now we are walking to the Flatiron building to see that as well. We made it to the iconic John Wick building, and of course it's a little bit unfortunate that it's entirely covered in scaffold, but it's still really fun being here. We just stopped by at the original Shake Shack here in Madison Square Park to get a quick bite for lunch. After a quick subway ride, we just made it to Times Square, and there is quite a party going on at the moment. I couldn't imagine a better place than Times Square to taste a true New York hot dog. So of course I had to get one. Cheers! Just as it should be. the New York City hot dog gave me additional energy to walk a bit more. So now we walk down here to see the Grand Central Station. After the visit at the Grand Central Station earlier, we just went back to the hotel and chilled. And now we went out to find some Mexican food, which is really looking delicious. After our dinner, we don't have any other plans, so we are just going to chill for the rest of the evening. It's Saturday morning, and as usual, we just left the hotel after eating our breakfast. And now we are going out on a ferry trip to something called Ellis Island to see the Statue of Liberty. After a quick and relaxing ferry trip, we just made it to Ellis Island to see the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, one without the hat.
Very nice. We've just returned back from Ellis Island to find some food, and we found this deli spot where we get to try the chopped cheese sandwich. With a delicious chopped cheese in the stomach, we now made it over to Times Square to do a bit of shopping. After spending an enormous amount of time running around here in New York, we finally found a great gift for Fred's birthday. After me and Sims found the great gift for Fred earlier today, we just went back and chilled on the hotel. And now me and Dad is on the way out to get pizza from a very special place here in New York City for the entire family. And the pizza place is called Scar's Pizza, which I'm really looking forward to trying. And I think it's also on time that we get to try a real New York pizza slice. We just ordered a couple of big pizzas for the entire family, and while we're waiting, me and Dad, we just had to try a bit of the slices. So my dad is trying the mushroom and I'm trying the original cheese slice. Cheers. Oh, this is really good pizza. It's on time that we got a New York slice. Pizza acquired, and just take a look at these beautiful sized boxes. We've just finished our pizza party and it was really delicious. But now I'm just up here in the hotel room that I share with my grandparents because I'm headed straight to bed because I am going out for a 30-kilometer long run, so I have to get up pretty early tomorrow morning. It's Sunday morning, 5:42 o'clock, and I'm just standing outside the hotel because I'm about to start the long run that I mentioned yesterday evening. And because we have 30 kilometers to play with today, I think that we can go quite far. So the plan is to head down to Central Park and do a couple of loops down in the park. 30 kilometers done in 2 hours and 13 minutes at a pace of 4 minutes and 25 seconds per kilometer. I just got a huge breakfast in my stomach, so now we are ready to head out for adventures with the family. And the first stop today is that we are going over to the High Line to walk through that. We just walked through the entirety of the High Line, and now we found a great spot to get a quick lunch. After eating our delicious lunch, we just took the subway into near Times Square. And of course, we landed on a very special beer bar because we are, of course, on vacation with my dad. So no trip without a little trip to a bar where we can get some beer. Skål! After the beer party we had at other half earlier today, we just went back to the hotel, and then the entire family got together and had a lot of hygge. And now we went out from the hotel again because we have a dinner reservation at a restaurant called Kiki's, which is a Greek restaurant, and I'm really looking forward to trying their food. And it's also a special evening this evening because it's our last day here in New York City. So hopefully it's going to be extremely nice. As you can see on Fred, our food just arrived, and I ordered some lamb chops as well as some spinach rice, which is looking really good. We've just returned from an amazing dinner here in our last evening in New York, and I really hope that you enjoyed following us through Washington and New York. Besides that, I also hope that you want to follow us throughout the rest of our USA trip, and I also want to wish you a great rest of the day. Take care.